Commission.
Well, and of course, as we speak now, because the president declared today 15th and tomorrow 16th as public holidays so that people go through this voting, this election period. Of course, we wanted to see the situation downtown, of course, around the city center, but importantly, to see what is happening in the various polling stations down there. Of course, our reporter has been at Seroma village, of course, just downtown here near Clock Tower, to see what is the situation out there, but also the general overview of business downtown. Now, let us see first of all what is happening at Seroma village. Already in the queues to make sure that they are voting for their next leaders. Someone might have stood for long, and probably that's why they are stretching and they are yawning a bit. But you see the lines are a bit longer, and when you look closely, you realize that they have also put aside their biometric voter verification machines, and they have adopted the manual way, and that is checking for a voter from the register. Now, for someone to understand this space very well, it is close to a mega standard supermarket, or it is close to the former ShopRite. So that is the area we are talking about, or closer to Container Village, or closer to the old tax park. So that is basically the area we are talking about, and you realize, you see, voting is moving on. You see people being issued with ballot papers, as you can see. So voting seems to be moving on very well. Of course, you see a very long ballot paper, a very long ballot paper. But of course, you see the officer is busy looking for a voter from the voter register, and of course verifying them. But like we said earlier, of course you will see that almost 99% of the shops are closed. As you can see, in an unusual way, business is not as normal as it is always. Even when you try to stretch your eyes into the tax park, you realize that the vehicles are not as many as even the streets are so dry. As you can see, the border stages are always full, but you can see, you can even count the number of borders around town, so you can walk with a lot of ease. As you can see, people are walking freely, but basically you realize all shops are closed. Actually, when you look at this, this is Barton Street. Of course, all shops are closed. You see the taxis are not as congested as they are always around that space. Of course, walking through, as you can see, and stretching your eyes up to Mapera building, you realize that the streets are so empty. The vendors are not as many as there are always on especially that particular street. So basically that is the situation downtown. We are glad that probably, of course, I've just seen one shop open there, but also the open shop doesn't seem to even be having any client, even having a snip at what they are selling. Yeah, but of course you see all shops are closed. People are either home or they have respected this day as a public holiday to go and choose who their next leaders are. But of course, we had an opportunity to speak to, of course, this is Loom Street. As you can see, Loom Street is all closed, no shops at all that are open. It is closed. So you see Loom Street. If you know Loom Street and how it can jam with both passengers and motorists, of course, and you look at the Loom Street and how it is, you realize that indeed shops are closed, businesses have closed. Even the few shops that are open, I'm not sure whether they'll be open for the whole day. Of course, this is Maria's Galleria, just close to Church House, and including Church House as well. But of course, we spoke to Nabachala Owechtunducha Seroma, and we want her to at least shed for us a picture of how the voting was there.
Ekyalo ekiri Musoloma parking yard, then tulondera wano okulonda kutambudde bulungi okujjako mashini zizakutawanyizaamuko, naye luvannyuma lw'okufuna eddoboozi okuva mu electoral commission ne batukkiriza tulondere mu register n'obukonge bwaffe.
Well, that is the situation downtown and of course around Kampala in the central business district. Now, we want to also follow up with Emmanuel Arengai in Lubaga to give us an update of what exactly is happening there. Emma, over to you, Sebo.
Yes, right now I'm stationed at number 1 secondary school, and I've just started right now voting a few minutes back at 11. But before that, there was a small incident whereby one of our youth disorganized the voting process, whereby it had to take the police officers around to come and curb him and put him on a patrol, and he had just been taken to the police cell.
Maybe we need to understand how exactly he was trying to disorganize the voting exercise.
One of the youth is a youth. He was actually whisked away very quickly because he was trying to sing party songs and demonstrate to people what they should vote. So the police thought it was easy to make them would scheme a way to organize the voting process, put it to order and come.
Okay, are there any voters that would like to
there are two voters
that? Yes.
Here, they've just finished to vote right now.
Okay.
And actually, they're going to be explaining to you what they have gone through as they were voting.
Okay.
but we're going to use like Uganda. So
it is
only like Church of Uganda Family TV, Madam Sabo, Manyako, Le.
Sebo tukwaniriza nnyo ku Church of Uganda Family TV. Sebo.
Noli don namuona parent. Naye kitwalidde obudde kulonda ng'obuma buganya okukola akali basazeewo ne basalawo tulondere mu register. Waddewo abatankalanya ne bagaana tetulonda katwali bulungi paka lwe bamaze okulangirira ne bagamba tulondere mu register.
Sebo omulabi waffe yandiyagadde omusigira ku kifaananyi watuusewo ssaawa mmekaawo era ogolooza ki ekisinza okuleetera okulwawo okutandika okulonda?
Ekibadde kirigga ekibadde kituyisiza okulonda tubadde tukyalina obuuma buddeko badde tubina n'ebiwaka ne bagamba bagambye nti tunaalira mpaka lunaku lwankya ne bakubirayo byabakamu n'abagamba tulonde mu Kristo nakumulayi
naye nga wooli ebikozesebwa byo byatuuse mu budde
byatuukidde mu budde bazatudde makyawe tatulyawo
kale Sebo tweyanziza nnyo okwogerako naffe.
And I have the second one.
Yes.
He's going to be telling you how he feels after voting.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Twesimye okuwulizaako Sebo. Sebo tubuulire ku mannya go ne woolondedde.
Amanya agabize Ziwa Faruku.
Ziwa Faruku olondedde wa Sebo?
Nondedde Namuŋŋoona parent.
Ziwa twandiyagadde otusigira ku kifaananyi awo ku Namuŋŋoona parents w'oli mbeera ki eri awo era ebbugumu liri litya?
Abantu abadde bajumbidde okulonda mu bungi bakuba tukeereyeemu ebikozesebwa byakedde okujja naye obuzibu bubaddewo mashini ne zigaana okukola ki okubako network.
Naye ng'abantu bo bajjumbidde we bali bangi oba baabikooye ne bagenda babikooye ne bagenda oba bonna basigaddewo ne balinda paka okulondayo kutandise?
Ababadde bagenze naye bakomyewo.
Ekyo kirungi nnyo Sebo, mwebale nnyo okwagala ensi yammwe n'okukola obuvunaanyizibwa bwammwe bw'okulonda abakulembeze.
I have the third one.
Yes, Emma.
Yes, let me give you the third one. Hello.
Sebo wasuza otya Sebo?
Yeni munange Sebo.
Sebo oli butereevu wano ku Church of Uganda Family TV era nga twandiyagadde otubuulira ku mannya go otusigire ne ku kifaananyi ekiri awo woolondedde Sebo.
Amannya ge Ntongo Abdul. Nondedde wano Namuŋŋoona.
Sebo.
Namuŋŋoona so ntufunamu okutaataaganyizibwa ng'obuuma buganye okukola. Olw'okusoomozebwa okubadde gw'amaanyi okutuyisiza si bulungi.
Mpozi Sebo watuuse ssaawa mmeka gwe ku polling station?
Polling station yatuusitawo ssaawa emu yennyini nga ndi ku polling station awo.
Naye ng'okulonda kutandise mu ssaawa nga mmeka?
Okulonda kulonda ssaawa 4:30.
Naye mwebale ggumiikiriza Sebo nakukuuma mirembe na bukkakkamu.
Emirembe gy'abantu bagikuumye okuleka bannaffe banaagimalawo oluvannyuma naye nga gye gikuumiddwa.
Bwe bulungi Sebo. Kale Sebo tukwagaliza akaseera akalungi webale nnyo okwogerako naffe.
Kale Sebo. Now maybe like let me get a lady for you to balance.
Okay, Emma, we do not want to leave the ladies out.
Hello.
Mama wasuza otya nnyabo?
Hello.
Nti wasuza otya nnyabo?
Bulungi Sebo, wasotya.
Nnyabo oli butereevu ku Church of Uganda Family TV. Tubadde twagala otubuulire ku mannya go ne woolondedde n'embeera nga bw'ebadde awo woolondedde.
Sebo, amannya agange bampita babiri Doreen. Nondedde Namuŋŋoona parent. Secondary school. Embeera tusireyizeemuko naye leyita bimaze n'ebitereera era nze omu ku balonze nze mmaliriza embeera nnungi tewaliwo nsasage yonna buli kimu security weeri abantu bali mu kulonda bitambula bulungi.
Ekyo kirungi nnyo era mwebale nnyo nakutuukiriza buvunaanyizibwa bwammwe obw'okulonda maama. Kale nnyabo tukwagaliza akaseera akalungi. So
as you have heard that the situation is calm and voters are going on to cast their vote.
Yes, Emma, there is something I would like to know, especially the confusion that has been around between vote and stay around and vote and go home.
Yes.
What is the situation around there?
The situation here right now, some of the voters, when they finish to vote, they automatically go. But trust me, the shedding more for light here. When you look at the place, most of the youth are seated back, laid back to wait for the voting session to begin. Most of them are around. When they finish to vote, they remain around. Apart from the elder people, for them, they just leaving the place.
Is there no confrontation between the security and the people?
Is there what?
Is there no confrontation between the security and the people?
No. Just in one like the one incident I told you about the youth but trying to disorganize, then he was taken away. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Can I get you 2 people?
Okay. I think we shall take one. We can take one.
A lady or
let's take a lady.
A lady?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Hello?
Wasuza otya nno nnyabo?
Bulungi sawa, wasuza otya sebo?
Bulungi nnyabo, oli butereevu wano ku Church of Uganda Family TV. Tubadde nti oli butereevu wano ku Church of Uganda Family TV. Tubadde tusaba otubuulire ku mannya go ne woolondedde, otubuulire ne ku mbeera nga bw'ebadde awo woolondedde.
Amannya gange nze Asia Kawooya. Mumbejja. Nga nondedde wano e Namuŋŋoona. Secondary school. Era ng'okulonda kusoose ne tukyankalanamu nga bagamba mashini zekyanze. Naye oluvannyuma nga wayiseewo ndowooza essaawa ng'emu ebintu bizze era ne tudda mu nteeko. Nze wenjogerera nga kati mmaze okukasuula alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Maama guno omulundi gwo gwakumeka ng'olonda?
Guno omulundi gwange
gwakusatu?
Naye
wogerageranya emirundi giri ebiri ne guno experience kikyolaba ekyenjawulo ekiri mu kulonda kuno ekitabaddewo mu kulonda kugyoko emirundi ebiri?
Ekyukakyuka kyendabeewo mu luutu eno, abantu babadde serious nga bakulaga ekintu kyabwe bakyetaaga. Olaba balina okwagala mu mutima, olaba kubanga waliwo n'abatuuse okugamba nti no kabiramu k'ekkumi kyakweyiwawo kibindi tukyakulonda. Olabira ddala abantu kye baliko bakyagala.
Kale maama, tweyanzizza nnyo webale nnyo okwogerako naffe. Tukwagaliza akaseera akalungi.
Amanya Senga Sebbanga ow'ekitiibwa.
Ye Senga Sebbanga, twesiimye okuwuliza ssebo.
Nange bawuliza muganda wange.
Senga Sebbanga weebale kulonda.
Akalulu bale tulina okwenyigiramu olw'ensonga.
Yes ssebo.
Sanyo bwe tulonda ffe tulina okusalawo embeera mwe tunaabeera.
Kituufu Senga Sebbanga. Senga Sebbanga buuza ku balabi baffe.
Banange mbalamusizaako. Ate mbaagala nnyo nabo badde beebale kunjagala nga Senga Sebbanga.
Era kuba tulaba kuliko abawagizi bo ssebo. Naye Senga Sebbanga.
Amiina ssebo beebale nnyo kunjagala.
Senga Sebbanga tubadde twagala otusigire ku kifaananyi ekyawo olondedde embeera ebadde etya?
Embeera yakatereera. Olw'ensonga nti ebyuma bibadde byasoose ne bigaana okuva ku makya. Era kati twakatandika okulonda naye ng'abantu kati tetulondedde ku eri system. Wabula bakubireyo mu bakama baffe eri ab'ebyokulonda oba omukulu byabakama. N'abakkiriza tulondere ku eyo embeera. Era tulina okubeera abeegendereze nnyo. Kubanga zino ebisikaninga biki byonna tebiriiwo bakebera bukebezi mu nkalala. Mukalala obeeramu awo ng'olyoka olonda. Naye nga tetugendedde ku eri system yabwe gye badde boogerako. Eyakuuma eyakosikaninga. Ekyoka tusabe Mukama bitambule bulungi naye ng'abantu ebbugubo likyalimu. Abantu bajumbidde nnyo okulonda kw'omwaka guno.
Era Senga Sebbanga tugenda kukusaba oyite n'abo abakyasigaddeko abatulaba batannaba kujja kulonda obagambe bajje balonde.
Amiina. Era nsaba bannayuganda bonna ng'okyali waka ng'olina akakombeko weewambise muganda wange olonde mujje tulonde tekagenda okusalawo enkyendera gy'onoobeeramu mu by'enguudo ebyamalwaliro ebyenjigiriza gwe weesuulira amba gwemanya ekyo tunaaba tusazeewo tujja okugenda nakyo naye abasa baganda bange bajje bakole okusalawo okulungi ate tube bakkakkamu olwokubeera mbeerako kutambuza bulungi.
Tweyanziza nnyo Ssenga Ssebbanga, tukwagaliza akaseera akalungi ssebo.
Amiina muganda
era ogende mu maaso ng'okyatukolera ebitusanyusa ssebo.
Amiina ssebo nange neyanziza nnyo omulimu katabasazeko netiwaaka kitegeeza kati amawulire gonna tugajja wamu amatuufu.
Kituufu ssebo.
Mukama akuwe nnyo omukisa.
Amiina naawe bw'otyo ssebo era beera bulungi.
Hello.
Yes.
As you've just heard, those other people have been able to get for you here, but just know the situation is still calm and orderly.
So Emma, Namongona is in Lubaga North or Lubaga South? I'm
still in Lubaga North. This is Lubaga North.
Okay, it is Lubaga North.
Yes.
Okay, that is fine, because our viewer wanted to be sure whether it is Lubaga North or Lubaga South. Thank you so much, Emma. And we shall let you continue with your treks to the various polling stations, and we shall get back to you at a later time.
Okay.
Thank you. And of course, as you have heard, that is what is happening out there. People are excited. And like we've said, like we've heard, people are excited, people are happy because they are casting their voice. And from the listeners we've just heard, they say this time around, what is so unique is that people now have their love for candidates has really grown. But also, I think from all the updates we've had, it's only in just one polling area that we have had they have used the biometric verification machines, voter verification machines. Most of the other polling stations, and of course those we are yet to know about, they are still using they resorted to using the registers, the voter registers. And that is why I say, if you're going to vote, to speed up the work, carry your national ID and go with it. It is very easier with your national ID or with your voter location slip. Well, we take another short break. We are continuing with updates after updates. Therefore, keep it at Church of Uganda Family TV. Of course, in Rachtura, it is evident that they are using the voter verification, the biometric voter verification machines. And of course, you see the president is putting his thumb to be scanned. And of course, you can see what is happening. Of course, verification is ongoing. As you can see, the president is casting his vote in Rachtura right now, and that is what we are showing you at a time. Let us see up to the point when he casts his vote, and we shall be back with more updates.
Will have won this election. For members of parliament, that is at district level. Of course, the district turning officers will be able to announce who will be the winner.
You can see, of course, there was an issue. You also witnessed there is some sort of delay, and the president at some point is asking what the problem could be. You witnessed some sort of delay with the machine, the biometric voter verification machine, of course. But he is in the queue already, and at last it has it is still failing to detect his thumbs. And of course, they are requesting him to put off his mask and his hat so that they can now take his face. So they have requested him to put off his hat and his mask, probably, so that they can take his photo and be able to, of course, scan him. As you can see, they're now trying to use a plan B of the machine. They are using the face recognition to detect the president. Of course, you realize that the officer, and eventually, at last, they have been able to detect his face. Those are the options that the Electoral Commission had talked about, that if the fingerprints fail, then of course they give you, of course, they take your facial recognition. And of course the president has been issued with the ballot papers for the presidential candidates. And of course, as you can see, they are scanning the ballot papers, because that is the process with the voter verification biometric machine. Of course, they scan the ballot papers, and of course, they have also given him a ballot paper for the direct member of parliament. Now, you might ask yourself, why is the president taking only 2 instead of 3? Remember, the third candidate came out unopposed, the district woman member of parliament, who is Ruth Rujoshi Mushabe, is the woman member of parliament of that district where Rachtura sits, and that is Chiruhura district. So that is why he has a direct member of parliament and the president. So it is now time for voting, and he has sent away the security guard, because it is a secret ballot. That is why it is called a security ballot. Not even the security guard can be close to the president while he is choosing his next leader. So that is what is happening. And of course, he has voted for the presidential candidate. And of course, he is moving to the box to cast his vote. After voting, as you can see, the Electoral Commission official is there to guide the president as he casts his vote. And of course, the instruction is that you fold your ballot paper, because it is a secret ballot. The president is now casting his vote, and ladies and gentlemen, the president has casted his presidential candidate vote, the one he has voted for. Now, we do not know who he has voted for, because it is a secret ballot, so he knows the person he has voted for. He has moved on to vote for the direct member of parliament. And like I said earlier, that because it is a secret ballot, you realize the Electoral Commission official is trying to even send away the journalists, so that they do not zoom in to see who the president is voting for. And of course, he is going to cast his vote for the direct member of parliament, as you can see in the box. And of course, the Electoral Commission official is also there to guide the president. And those are the only 2 people that are being voted for at that constituency, at that polling station and in that entire district. And now the voting is over. The president is done with voting, and he is leaving he has to get an ink mark to show that he has voted. And after that, the president is done with voting, and so he is leaving the polling station. He is leaving the polling station, but he is done with voting. And so that is the President of the Republic of Uganda. He is done with voting and now leaving the polling station. As you can see, the situation and the environment, of course, and the situation is so calm. You realize that the security is not as beefed as usual in places where the president is going to be. And so, of course, the president is going to speak, and of course, we shall let him speak. Of course, we are going to listen to him as he speaks. So let's listen to the president as he gives us his after voting speech.
addressing the people. Candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of the NRM party is going to be addressing the people at that polling station where he has just finished casting his vote. All is being prepared for the president to address the people.
Kana kanjangiro nyeka nimpango nyeka nimpango togoga hati ngagandi mbente togoga hati ngagandi mbente togoga hati nyanga gobsheji naga kare makana mhago nakajajiro nyeka nimpango akabashwirwo mufunga izoba kabashwirwe hogo mityo yende kabatara murungi cyambamba inakari kanimpango inanchuche kanimpango inabana kanimpango inabakaikuru kanimpango gambi sampimbi kanimpango inabagursi kanimpango kagabirwe ibiri kanimpango nakajagiro kanimpango
want to thank all of you, the rumor mongers, you know, village people, we are not used to people who don't work. Because either you are a farmer of crops or cows, or a fisherman, or you have got Omoga. Omoga is like a blacksmith, carpentry, and so on. This is our tradition. But recently we got some new people who say their job is to look for news. Can you imagine? Urugambo. But it's modernity, so we are accepting it. So I'm happy to meet you because I've discovered that Urugambo no no mugaso. Kuanga bajeno ni batwala eri. Singa batwala ebitufu. Nagwo mulimo si kyansonga. Nenze naremera mukulunda n'okulima. So I congratulate Ugandans for getting up early this morning, because I was following by 5-6 people were up. Now they had a problem of these voter verification machines. They are working because I voted by it, as you saw. You were all there. First of all, it did not accept my fingerprints because I think maybe when they took them, they had a different angle if you don't put them properly. But when they put my face, you saw the machine recognized me. Now, this has been the struggle of NRM since 1960. Because long before your parents were born, I was around and already active. And we have been having a problem of from that time. UPC was cheating that time. Kawaka Yaka. I was in DP. DP was not so much inactive. It had other problems. Therefore, the elections of 1961-62 were really not fair, not accurate. At that time, they were voting in enclosed Sakati, where they would have an enclosure, a Kasharagati. Where you go and you take a loan, and then they would have each party had its own box. Then you had so it was really not serious. We never had elections again from 1962 to 19. Is there no shade somewhere? Because I'm enjoying the rumor mongers. I want to talk to them more. There's no shade here where you can. Atene mshana. Aroka gunda. Okay, toa. You rumor mongers, you are the ones who brought yourself, so I'm going to lecture you. So we never had elections again for 18 years, no elections, until 1980. Now, before the elections of 1980, we told our people, please, can we remove all these shades? Because in 1962, you had multiple voting. Somebody could vote many times. You had ballot stuffing. Somebody could just bring papers and put them there. You didn't have registers which you were sure of. And the voting was in a Bisakati, in enclosure. So we said, please, can we discuss how to vote accurately? They didn't want. They just wanted elections. And they cheated. And we told them that if you cheat, we are going to fight. That's what happened. So when we defeated those groups, we started with lining up. 1989, because that lining up was Ukakasanti. These are your real people. To remove the other issue of ballot stuffing, remove the issue of multiple voting, remove the issue of dead people also voting, because if you are dead now, you don't have time to line up. You can't come to line up. So it worked well, 89, the lining up. But when we went to the CA, they said, no, we must go back to, because the lining up had the issue of people seeing that you didn't vote for me, and it could have some parana. So that's why when we came to 94, 96, we went back to secret ballot. But we put these measures which you still see. Have one ballot paper. Don't have separate ballot papers, so that the pictures of the candidates are all on one paper, as you saw. Secondly, have one ballot box. Thirdly, tick privately, but where all people are seeing, so that they see that you have ticked only one paper. Fourthly, have agents of candidates, agents. Let them be there to see, because all these were not allowed. In the 1962, it was not allowed. You were not allowed to have agents. It was up to the Electoral Commission people. Then count immediately after voting, because that was also another issue. In 1962, they would take the boxes from here to Mbarara. It would take like a week, taking the boxes. They will count there, you are not there, then they just announce. So here we said, count and announce immediately after the elections. Now, so this was like, we thought it would eliminate cheating. And it can, but it depends on one thing, vigilance. The agents to really be vigilant. But many times the agents are not vigilant. They are not vigilant. So still, like in the last election, opposition infiltrated 2.7 million votes. Those votes which they say opposition got were not. They never got those votes. They were infiltrated by the opposition. They printed 1 million votes on Nkrumah Road, and we brought another 1.7 from Dubai. It's a fact. We got these facts, but afterwards. So that's why all this time we have been saying, no, let's go electronic, biometric, capture the fingerprint and the face. Yes, you will vote manually, like you saw me voting, but after the machines have confirmed that I am the one, and that I will vote only once, I'm not allowed to. Now, so this machine works, as you saw. But some people feared it, didn't want it to work. Some people feared it. Some people feared the machine. They fear the machine. They don't want the machines to work. So this morning, being a guerrilla, I get up early. I'm not like you people who kondeza. You know kondeza? Who kondeza. Abaganda banikigambo kye banange. To oversleep. Huh?
Amalowooza agali eno bagamba nti kuba kufuluuta.
That is snoring. To oversleep.
Bagambye kuba kuwoomereza. Nti okubulizaako.
Ngenda kumugamba Kabaka Mutebi Abaganda mazike ekyoli nyankole. Okondeza is a clear, so I don't kondeza. So 6:30 I rang Todwong. Todwong was up there in Nwoya. I was checking about our agents, my agents. They must be here. My don't call them, leave them, they are on duty. I was checking, have my agents arrived? Said yes, some of them have arrived. This was like 6:30. Many of them have arrived, but we now have a problem of the machines. What is the problem? The software, this and that and that and that. Then I checked now with the Shiba, engineer Shiba. I hear stories about the machines. Then Shiba said the machines have no problem, but the people some people in the Electoral Commission delayed to bring their biodata, what they call biodata, so that it is entered into the machine. So that machine can only be operated by somebody whom it has already been allocated. Is the only one who can open it. Otherwise, if Yoweri Museveni, a very important man, president, general, if I come and try to open it, it will not accept me. It will say, sorry, sikumanyi. So, somebody in the Electoral Commission delayed to send the picture. Whose pictures were sent? Who opened this machine here? He's there, but he's on duty. Don't divert him. So, what is his name? Akampa Sara. When was she recruited? Maybe our big woman here can brief us. The machine operator, give her Muzindaro. Come.
She's coming.
They will bring it here.
Your Excellency, Thank you for that question. The polling officials were recruited beginning on 22nd of December 2025. Throughout, we took them through the recruitment process until 2nd of January of this year, when we started the trainings. We trained them for 5 days consecutively. As of yesterday, Your Excellency, we were still training as a refresher to remind them in case they forgot, because we are dealing with a machine. We took them through yesterday countrywide, and they were ready to work.
Okay. So, but the machine to work had to be operated by the one who has already explained that one?
Yes, for the biometric voter verification kit to work, first of all, it is used by 2 officers, the operator and the presiding officer. For it to work, you must assign them before they can use it.
Assign them how?
You take their particulars, their national identity card, NIN, and their biodata. So we submitted at the district level to the Electoral Commission headquarters IT, and they assigned them to the machines.
They integrated them?
Yes, Your Excellency.
And that's why the machine is accepting them?
That's why they are able to use the machines.
Are you part of that, or you are a bigger woman?
I am a returning officer of the district. So for you, but I supervise them, sir.
So you are not among the openers?
I'm not among the operators, Your Excellency.
So what happened was that some people in the Electoral Commission did not send the particulars of the operators to the machines. So I checked, they are saying that some of them, even by this morning, had not sent their biodata by this morning. Some were sending by 9. Was this deliberate? We are going to check that. So when I started checking by 8, 9, people started ringing me. The machines are working in a few places, in other places they are not working. So the Electoral Commission proposed, and I had to support it, because people have gathered from morning, from 7, that we vote manually, because it was not correct for people to just go home. But the machine works. So there must be, we're going to find out why there was a delay by people to send the biodata to the machines. I know people who cheat, opposition. Last time they got 2.7 million votes by cheating. But this time we are also very, very alert. Although the machines have not worked well, we have got other measures which we are following up. So this is, since you are rumor mongers, this is not a rumor, these are true stories which I have told you. I can answer a few questions. Abakuza kutera obululu barabakulya. Tanaelewa ntawana bejabe abantu baza kutera karabuna. Okay. Oh.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm by the names of Robert Onyango. I work with UBC. Congratulations, first of all, for having gone around the entire country for 3 months, canvassing for votes. It has not been an easy journey. We saw you under the sunshine, under the rain, but you finally managed and made it to where we are today. Your Excellency, this is the 7th time you are casting the vote under this arrangement where, as a country, Uganda, we choose leaders at all levels. Though we have started with these 2 categories. I'm just removing or setting aside the 1980 elections, which you have always disputed. That's why I have not made it 8. But on the bottom line, Your Excellency, what kind of president have you voted for today? One you'd wish to lead Uganda in the coming 5 years, looking at the demands of our society, where service delivery, security, peace, and the rest is a core principle of which the NRM party, which you lead, is running and intending to run the next government. And probably, if you wanted supporters like members of parliament and local leaders, to the voters who have not yet voted, which kind of leaders can they send to you so that you work with them in the coming 5 years? Your Excellency, I will not limit it to there, but just give me 1 second. You have insinuated about what happened in the last elections in 2021. If you can just add it on this, my 1 question. Are you ready this time round to accept the outcome of this election, just in case the opposition once again rise up and manipulate the exercise, as you have always alluded? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Well, if we had known the manipulation in time, we would have challenged it. But we came to know about it later. We came to know about it post-mortem. But this could be one manipulation. We are going to study more. Like this one here, we are going to find out why, what was the problem. Because I have voted with the machines here, I put my Ugandans all over the world, listen to what I have done here. I'm a good experiment. I'm a good guinea pig. I put my right chinkumu, that's what they call sampling. The machine did not accept it. I put my left, it did not accept it. Why? It could be that when we took them, we used a different angle. When you put an angle to me, but the real decisive factor was the face. My face was accepted by the machine here, so the machine works. And the reason we added the machine is the face was because people had argued that Africans' thumbprints are eroded by holding them. Because they hold the hole that the marks may not be clear. So that's why we added the face. So we don't know whether this was just oversight or part of the manipulation. But we shall study even all the other factors, because we are following so other factors. Now regarding the president I voted for here, and the member of parliament I voted for people who believe in patriotism. Remember, I've been telling you that. Because as you can see here, all these people here are wealth creators who don't have many parasites here. Most of the people are wealth creators. they create wealth by cows for milk, cows for beef, and bananas. But these people don't buy my milk, and I also don't buy theirs. Why? Because we have the same products. So who buys our milk? People of Kampala, people like Onyango in Kampala there. They're the ones who buy my milk, who buy my beef, who buy my bananas. So when you see this Banyankore with the mabati, with the brick houses, the money they are using to build their wealth is from Uganda. So that's why we say, you people who are not parasites, love Uganda. Why? Because you need it for your own good. Nzo muntu wakwata ku Uganda mfirawo. Wao mfirawo. Kulwaki kubanga Uganda kekasiyani kange kwendira munange. Bolaba nzimbe nyumba enungi wano ndikisaje kikaga ndiawo nange tumunyoma. But everyone because of Uganda. Even in the 1950s, when I went in the school system, I was supported by 3 people, and none of them was a Munyankore. There was a man called Warisim Mpanga from Kampala who was buying cows and taking them to Kampala for slaughter. He was a Muganda man. Yagulanga ente zaffe natusasula kaguta namperera mu ssomero. Then there was another Kiganda man kinene bwe kiti Kisiramu from Barara called Bukenya. Yagulanga ente zaffe nazileta mu Barara mu katale waawo. 1956, a Muzungu called Share came and started buying our cows, taking them to Kirembe. Kirembe yali etandise. So you can imagine in the 1950s, I went to school because of Uganda buying my cows, my father's cows. So when you say, whom did you vote for? Me, I want the one who loves Uganda. When you come and you tell me about Badama and who are the Onyangos? Samia?
Yes, Your Excellency, I'm with Samia.
So, Fengaba Samia, Fengaba Ganda, Fengaba Nankole. Zinkugambira nti sitani nvaako. Genda. So this is the one I have voted for, the one who believes in Uganda. But also, the one who believes in Africa. Because even Uganda is not enough. If you see our production now, so big, this milk, these people here, production of milk is 5.3 billion liters. The internal market is only 1 billion. So if we do not have East Africa, this business would have collapsed. This is the economy of milk. So kata wetugambira nti Pan-Africanism. Love Africa. Why? Because you need it. So I vote for those. The ones who says Fengaba Ganda, Fengaba Nankole, Ndumunyankole dala, I like my culture. Ndumukugumu culture, naye ebyange private. For politics, it is Uganda, it is Africa. let's have 3 other questions and I go to Mvumboruga mugende kukora ibyo kana korugambo kavawa ubwo vawa mukarigaru kunjiraka. Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency. My name is Adam Mayambala, and I work for NBS TV. My question is, over the 90 days of your campaign, a lot of issues have been raised from the locals and a lot of promises that you have made. But what is the most critical concern that you see in Uganda that you're going to start with if Ugandans entrust you and vote for you today? And secondly, kunsonga y'obuuma tubaye twagala president maybe otunyonyoleko mu Luganda abantu bafe abawansi basobole otegeera kyobadde onyonyola.
Oluganda manda gaweddemu. Now, Uganda is very rich now. There are very many rich people. There are about maybe 7. Sugar is from Uganda. It used to come from other places. Milk is from Uganda. A lot of wealth which has come up. In commercial agriculture, manufacturing, services and ICT. I'm a hotel, very many hotels. Transport, Mbaraba, borders, what have you, there are so many. So that one have responded very well. That's why our exports have gone up, coffee. We are now earning more than $13 billion in export earnings. Now our export earnings are now higher than our import bill. We are importing less than we are exporting. But there is about 30% of the people who are still who are still outside the money economy. These are the ones now we need to deal with. And abantu abo balina ebintu nga bitano. First of all, obwavu. Abagaga webali naye n'abavu webali. So poverty. That's why these programs, PDM, all those will be intensified and monitored. Secondly, education. Abana babo kusoma. Abana babana kusomera bwerere. Free education. We've been having problems. Bano bana somako abombyaro tebafayo nnyo kubatasoma. So this time really I went to the Bazukuru to support me, and we really implement free education in government schools. Then Amadagara Marwaro, there's a problem there which must be sorted out. Immunization is doing well. Amadagara Marwaro Garnechizu. Then the other issue would be water for drinking and for production. Many people are now doing under PDM. They are doing Jenkoko, Zomchiyumba, Embizi, Embuzi. So they need water near the house. So water is number 4. Then finally, the corruption. Corruption is a big issue, and it creates injustice. Then there's the issue of land evictions. Chibataka, that's another big issue. For the smaller people, I'm able, I'm informed, I can hire lawyers so I can defend my land, but the smaller people have a problem. betulina okulwanako. And then finally enguudo z'omubyalo, those roads must be, the tarmac roads must be kept well, and the maram roads also must be kept passable. Two final questions.
Your Excellency, nze ngenda kubuuza mu Luganda, yenze Mukiibi Jamiru Kyabasinga, nkola ne Delta TV, tukole tukuyozayoza Your Excellency gy'otambulidde yonna eggwanga lyonna ng'ofeffetta akalulu akanaakuzza mu ntebe ekisanja kyo ekirala ekyamazima. Kampeyini eno obadde tokuba bukubi kampeyini, wabula obadde otambula osomesa abantu.
Yes, siri mu kampeyini ibi byamwe
obadde osomesa abantu.
Munkolera ki? What I'm the one who is menyeka kulwamwe. So I go to help you to see for yourselves, not me. I need nothing from you. Sina kinetaga byonna mbirina wano.
Tukuyozayoza Your Excellency.
So when I go to see such a large crowd of my people to say, oh yeah, what? God will not like it. When I get a chance, mbasomesa.
Your Excellency, tuli wano bannamawulire twatambula naawe okuva Eruweero nga tukwetegereza era okunoonyereza okwo kwenkugambye tukukoze wamu. Bannamawulire abatambula naawe okuva Eruweero bakusaba nti ng'akalulu waneeno kawedde basooke bakusinkanemuuko bongere okukulaga ebyenjawulo bye balabye mu bitundu by'eggwanga ebyenjawulo.
I would love that. I will take you either Tikisozi or Wakitula nembatira Sedume nemulya enyama.
Babadde bakusaba nga tebannaddayo Your Excellency Kampala obasinkanemu. Akasembayo Your Excellency, osuubira akalulu kano koolaba nga obadde onyumiza bantu obasomesa busomesa ogenda kawangalira ku percentage ki?
If there is no cheating, 80%. So that's why we must stop ballot stuffing. Because even the other time it was they said 58%, but actually it was much more than that. NRM Real has been all the time winning above 70% from 1996. If we don't Kuba, it distorts. If we don't stop the Kuba, it distorts the figure. Asembayo.
Your Excellency, Sansokola Bakosebo. Katonda tumwebaza nti akukuumye paka kati ku lunaku lw'okulonda. Your Excellency, nsooka okwebaza nti owadde abaana ba social media naddala boyita ab'olugambo tutambuza enjiri ya NRM era ab'opposition bonna twababikka. Museveni yali ku social media, TikTok, Twitter ne YouTube. Ekibuuzo kyange kiri nti taata nsaba kubuuza era onziremu. Muzeeyi oli punctual, nze wansobera. Muzeeyi bw'ojja mu kalulu ojja bukyali okusomesa abantu bo. Naye bwe ziwera 11:45 muzeeyi ng'aga musajja w'ekikoofiira oyo nga tumanya asiibudde. Other people babeera bakyanoonya kalulu paka saa 12. Ekyo kikoze otya ate ng'oli w'amaanyi mu ggwanga? Thank you.
Kubanga I can answer that in English. Omanyi sikituufu or I mix sikituufu okutawanya abantu mbu waliwo byonoonya gwe. Kati nga bino ebyokubera kampeyini mu butale ogeze mu katale abantu bali ku nnaku yaabwe n'enyaanya nakibye batunda kati gwe nojja n'okola olukungaana mu katale isiriyale olaba tofa ku bantu abo tosobola kujja mu ndimiro yange entunga mu lusuku lwange n'okoleramu olukungaana nkufumitirawo ogenda mulambo. But these people, they don't care because lumuna yimirirako warwaka gye batundireyo mu northern bypass. When you are coming from Nambole side, then you want to go to Mulago. There's some big, where they, I don't know what they call it. Yes, one day they were waving, I was excited and I stood, I regretted because they stampeded now and started trampling because these people are staying on the roadside. But so really you have no right kubanga gonna ebyononya okujja noyingira mu bulamu bwaffe ekitugeezaawo. So that's why we insist, if you want campaigns, go ebbali eyo abagala kuwuliza byoyogera bagenda kusanga eyo. Ffe tulwana tulikuna ku yaffe tutunda ennyanya tuli ku byaffe bwe tuba twagala okujja eyo tugenda beera we tunakusanga naye sigwe okujja mu kutulumba wano. Now coming to the time, because it is so unfair. These people are coming from far, the ones you are addressing. Yeah. They need to go back before darkness. Because you don't know, sometimes some of these areas have got some crime, some this. So why do you want to go beyond 6 o'clock? That's why we put it like that. Don't campaign at night, campaign early and go. So when you see people saying they don't care, it is because abantu abo bebali mutima bafaako babakozesa bukozesa mumpagire. That's why they go for religion. Mpagire kubanga ni Protestanti, kubanga ni Mukatoliki, kati ebyo byakugenda mugulu. Kati ffe tuliko wano ebyaffe byawo n'enguudo obwavu. Kati waliwo obwavu Obukatoliki banange n'Obusiraamu. You can see they are useless people. Bayingira mu bintu byebataninamu byebatamanyi. So that's why they have because they have no okulumirwa abantu. That's why they go for all those irrelevant factors, amawanga, edini, biki. So I can't go beyond 6 because singo mwana w'abantu agwambate mu ekiro addayo mbu ava mu lwale ya Museveni. Songa siriwo kumuvuga kumutuusa awaka. If I had capacity to drive them home safely, we could stay up to midnight. Then afterwards we have vehicles to take them home. But they are going to walk back home on their own. And you don't see that you should end. There is also darkness. If in case somebody picks your pocket, you will not see him in darkness. That's why we want people to go early, go away. Thank you so much. I'm dying really to have a whole day with my companions, the rumor mongers. Who have been with the old man with the hat. Come, you. Chino. Gana kumzindaro.
Owekitiibwa Nalongo Shamshad Nalujja nga mbeera Masaka, nzaalibwa Masaka Seera. Ye.
Very good. Nalongo lunabameka abalongo.
Nina abalongo ba mulundi gumu omulenzi n'omuwala.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Wakitwa Mr. Meeting, ensonga ya meeting.
No, we shall organize. Let's first finish the elections. We are going to organize. I'm dying to meet you and talk with you. I will invite you to Raikitora or Chisozi. We shall see which is better. Okay? Thank you so much. Kana katoka gambachi. Kakano kavawa.
Your Excellency, nze Nakayenga Sharon, nga nkola ne Makula TV. Your Excellency, tusaba kulaba, tusinabagenda Kampala.
Today? No, today we are busy. You are still around here?
Yes.
Fine, we shall organize. We shall organize. Okay, kare bazukuru. Thank you. We should thank this lady for hosting us. Tumubaza okutuchaza.
Well, that has been the President of the Republic of Uganda and also the presidential
Well, we have heard from His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and of course, he has highlighted a number of things. Of course, he referred to us as Volugambo, but anyway. Well, we are still continuing with our updates, but of course it's midday, and of course the situation seems to have normalized. Of course, we've also got information that His Grace, the Most Reverend Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu is done with his voting from Mityana. Yeah, so he voted from Mityana earlier. Of course, and of course, very many other people. We've seen Mugisha Muntu, General, also voting from Ntungamo. We've also seen Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu voting from Magere. Of course, we shall bring you highlights later. But we want to go to Masindi. Okay, let us first have Janat. Janat is close to us here. I want her to give us highlights of how the situation is. Janat, twesimye nnyo kuwuliza nnyabo. Janat, oli butereevu ku Church Uganda Family TV. Ennyabo. Janati ogenda twongerako ku ddoboozi omulabi waffe ayagala kuwulira bulungi. Janat tumusubiddwa mufuna naye tujja kuddamu tumunoonyeeko atuwa ate ebiri mu Kyengera Town Council oba oli awo gyalondedde atudde era gyali essaawa eno atubuulira embeera nga bweri. Kati mu kaseera kano tugenda kwegatta ku Joel Tinkasimire. Joel ali Masindi era twagala atuwe embeera nga bweri. Joel, it's a pleasure having you here on Church of Uganda Family TV. Joel, if you can hear me, you're live on Church of Uganda Family TV. As we wait for Joel and as we also clear the network for Janat, we want to have all updates here. But remember, voting is on. Joel, you're live on Church of Uganda Family TV. Joel, you're live on Church of Uganda Family TV, and we are delighted to hear from you all the way from Masindi. Yes.
Ini cara bercerita orang orang sawa ini semua dengan kualu wajar nak mesti kuminam tidak yang awal kan Ini sudah membacakan anaknya pada ini anak tahu itu apa kan jika yang belum kita tidak mati tidak termainah ayu pasen mau apun nama sini jadi dia kita buat dia masih kita aja bangga sih kita dia nak orang ada sarau berulang masih tapi kita mereka ini juga pasti ada gitu itu yang dikunjungi apa kali apa ini cara kita ini tapi itu sebagai ulama kita bisnis wan menjadi yang paling dia juga dia tetap sedikit stand which awas ni banyak nanti dan dapat mengukur itu. Tapi jauh ni, mudah dia kita kuat. Harus tapi nebeyo kita ini. Una buat tapi murid pemimpin kita tapi apa sih? Kono ye ada kita sudah jelas tapi kami yang dia kuat pada kedua banda gono awak tak karena bukan ini bukan salah bangga kita ambil pada
Joel, Joel ngenda kusaba tugenda kuddira mu keddakaawo oyongere ato tubulire embeera nga bweri ku polling station endala zona abootuuseeko mbadde nsaba tusooke tukwerekereze essaawa eno tweyanziza nnyo ssebo kale ssebo. We still continue with the ballot 2026 updates, and of course we are giving you updates from all over. But of course, in the other news, while we are following the politics, Uganda has again gotten some sad news of a fallen former minister, that is Namirembe Geraldine Bitamazire, who is a former minister of education, but also I think he has been the chancellor of Uganda Management Institute. So she passed on today. So while we are covered into the elections, Uganda has also lost a very important person who served this country diligently. She was also an MP at some point. But of course, more updates will come through. We take a short break. We come back with more updates from our reporters all over. Polling stations, voting is on, whether with BVVK or with the manual registers, but at least we can confirm that voting is on in all areas in this country. Earlier today, of course, the Electoral Commission Chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, came out and, of course, addressed the media shortly, updating us on what should be done. And of course, that is where the decision was taken that in places where the BVVK has failed, then they should get to the normal. And of course, he apologized for the technicalities that came in, and of course, the technological failures. Of course, the machines. And he said, but nevertheless, the Electoral Commission is still committed to delivering a free and fair election. So that is their command. Now, earlier we had Janat, who is one of us, and of course she was in Wakiso, Chengera Town Council. Janat, tukomyewo nate otubulire embeera nga bweri mu Chengera Town Council gy'oli essaawa eno.
Then tunako party kabu kunyumba. Kinako petero. Kinako kawetu. Pero kinako nabapanga. Wamna balala bantu kati wamekuli mbele kabili watatu bakugambete ekini kugawu.
Mpozi nga yetubafuna Janet wabaddewo waliwo amawulire agaali gayitingana nti omu ku baali beesimbyewo mu constituency eya Busiro East eyaggyibwa mu lwokaano ate nga kigambibwa nti ku Kakonge ate ekifaananyi kye kyalabikirako. Mpozi osobola otutangaazamu ku nsonga eyo?
Tetufudde yaduma wakati tulonda tewali bali mu kwekalaka.
Naye okubanga ekiri ku ground sawa kala.
Okay.
Omanyi abantu kaluluka ne bakambe ekitabu.
Janet simanyi oba ompulira?
Omulalo ekiri Janet simanyi oba eddoboozi lyange okyaliwulira? Weewaawo ndowooza Janet tulemeddwa okuwuliziganya obulungi naye nga ate nga watugambye ali mu kikajjo kyengera Town Council eyeba district ya Wakiso. District ya Wakiso eyo naye erina abantu abeesimbyewo abawerako. Jjukira nti yemu ku district eziri constituency eziri mu district ya Wakiso kubanga ojja kubala Entebbe municipality, obale Nansana municipality, obale Busiro East, obale Busiro North, obale Busiro South, obale Kyaddondo East, kugamba ezo zonna obale Kira municipality, ezo zonna ziri mu district ya Wakiso. Kale nyingiko weewaawo naye nga eyo nayo embeera bwetyo bweri. Jjukira nti era mu constituency eyo Janet mwali yewamu ya constituency mwe bawandukulula omu ku baali beesimbyewo omuyimbi Mathias Walukagga. Ono ng'ensonga twazitegeera okusinziira ku kakiiko k'ebyokulonda zaali zeekuusa ku mpapula ze ez'obuyigirize. Kale weewaawo tugenda ate kwegatta ku Emma Arengai. Emma ono ye atalaga mu bitundu bya Lubaga. Bwe twakomye okwogera naye yabadde atubuliddeko ku mbeera eyabaddewo ku polling station gye yabaddeko eya Namungona Parents Secondary School. N'atugamba nti waliwo omuntu eyalabikiddwako ng'ajja ayimba ennyimba z'ekibiina kye kyawagira nga waakunga n'abantu okuwagira ate abakulembeze bakkiririzaamu, naye poliisi oluvannyuma embeera yagiziza mu nteeko era n'emuggyawo mangu nnyo. Okay, Emma Arengai, wherever you are, kindly talk to us about the situation there.
The situation here is still calm and people are going on by voting.
Where are you right now? Someone would like to know where exactly you are.
Pardon?
We would like to know where exactly you are. The last time we talked to you, you were still in Lubaga North at Namungona.
Yes, right now I'm stationed at Kasubi. The polling station is called Masiru. Yes.
And now tell us the situation at the polling station in Kasuli.
Right now, the voters are going on voting, and still the situation is calm and orderly.
Okay.
Pardon?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Continue.
Right now, pardon?
Emma, it is okay. What time did the voting start in that particular polling station?
The voting started. It started at like around 10.
So are they using the BVVK or they are using the...
They're not working.
Okay.
They're not working, and right now standing by with Reverend Kasule, and I want you to talk to him right now.
Okay. Tata mukama waffe yeebazibwe.
Kati weyuzi Uganda mukodi mubulizi Tawulo Kasule Lwanga.
Mubulizi mukama waffe yeebazibwe taata.
Mukama waffe yeebazibwe.
Mujebaleko egy'okuweereza eggwanga.
Kale ssebo nammwe mujeebale gyonna egy'obuweereza bwa TV.
Amiina taata. Omulabi waffe yandyagadde okumanya ku mbeera nga bw'eri awo liwozza okulondera.
Ssebo weebale nnyo okutwagira awamu embeera. Embeera nga bwe njiraba wano nnungi nnyo. Waliwo obukkakkamu. Waliwo abantu basobodde okwefuga. Ate era bakutte luvannyumako. Era ne tutegeezebwa nti akuuma tebagambye okuyitamu okulaga abalonze n'abatalonze. Ako tukeebuuziza ne bagamba nti kaagaanye okukonekitinga. Naye otwalira awamu embeera nnungi, abantu balonda ne bagenda, abakuumaddembe batukoze bulungi nnyo.
Amiina, tweyanzizza nnyo taata, tweyanzeege.
Kale ssebo kamukuddize.
Let me have a lady.
Yes, Emma.
Oh.
Maama gyebaleko nnyabo.
Kale ssebo gyebaleko.
Kale maama, amannya go otubuulire ne ku mbeera nga bw'eri ne experience yo mu kalulu kano.
Wangi ssebo?
Nti tubadde tusaba otubuulireko ku mannya go ne woolondedde.
Mannya gange bampita Nakyaga Bammire. Kanondedde wano Kasubi ku Makiro. Bagiyita zooni ko.
Guno omulundi gwakumeka maama ng'olonda?
Mirundi gyonna mbadde nnonda ssebo.
Omuntu yandiyagadde okumanya olina ekyenjawulo ky'olabye mu kulonda kuno oba oliawo ky'obadde tolabangako mu kulonda kuli okuyise?
Ekyenjawulo kye ndabye mu kulonda kuno oba baziyita akalala si mpanvu nnyo olutuuka otegana mu layini mulimu abantu batonotono si bangi nnyo. Otambula bulungi okulonda mu mufuze kugenze bulungi.
Weewaawo tweyanziza nnyo
maama.
Beera bulungi.
Hello.
Yes,
Edwin.
Yes, please.
I have the voters who was around when the voting is starting.
Okay.
You can engage him.
Yeah, the voter can give us the experience.
Hello. Jebaleko mukulu.
Kale taata naawe jebaleko.
Nakuteesa okuva wano Kasubi Zone 4.
Ssebo, tubadde twagala otusigire ku kifaananyi ng'okulonda we kwabadde n'essaawa ze kwatandikiddeko n'embeera nga bwe yabadde.
Okutawaliza wamu tewaliiwo nsasagge. Tufunye okusomoozebwa mbu essaawa akakiiko k'ebyokulonda zaatuuse tebikolerako ddala. Ebyuma bifu nga balinda confirmation okuva akakiiko k'ebyokulonda. Okulonda kutandika essaawa zigenda mu ssaawa 4. Ate era okusomoozebwa katusange ku eno polling station osanga oli nga tandika akalonda kafuluma naye ate nga mu register kaliimu. n'osanga omulala nga kakaadi akalina akalonda nga mu registration gundi eya electoral commission taliimu ate nga eya agent mwali kati bwe buzibu obuli wano ku polling station.
Naye ekyo abakulu bekikwatako kyo bakigonjodde
wangi
nti abakulu bekikwatako kyo bakigonjodde
naye byonna bakugamba ekintu kimu oba toli mu register electoral commission n'obeera mu ya agent tokkirizibwa kulonda wankubadde olina national ID.
Kale tweyanziza nnyo taato tusiigira ku kifaananyi ky'embeera eyo nga bweri mu bitundu ebyo ebyakasubi. Weebale nnyo ssebo.
Hello Edwin, ndowooza owulidde abamu ku bagenze maaso okubeera nga balonda wano.
Weewaawo embeera tugiwulidde nga bweri e Kasubi. Ng'oggyeko e Namuŋŋoona ne Kasubi oyina polling station endala z'oyiseeko n'olaba embeera nga bweri Emma?
Ku ssaawa zino nkyatalaga Lubaga North era njolekera mu Lubaga South naye nga njala okubeera nga nkutegeeza nti abantu abasinga obungi bajja okulonda abamu basigalawo wano kati nga wano ku masiro wendi njala kubeera nga nkutegeeza nti waliwo abantu abali ebbali si bangi nnyo batini bagezako okulaba nga balaba ekigenda mu maaso abamu amala okulonda adde ewaka.
Okay. Weewaawo tweyanziza nnyo Emma andoza tujja kuddira ate nga mpozi abakulu abeesimbyewo bo otegeddeko gye balondedde. Abakulu abeesimbyewo mu constituency eya Lubaga North bo inako bootegedde gye balondedde.
Essaawa zino sijja kulimba nti ninako gwe naalabye naye nkyagenda maaso okubeera nga ntalaga.
Weewaawo tujja kuddira eddako ate otubulire n'ebyo by'onaaba ofunye Emma. Tweyanziza nnyo. Well, that is the situation in some polling stations in Kasubi, Masiro polling stations in Lubaga North constituency. But of course, like we said, our reporters are all over to make sure that we get all the updates that we need to get. Remember, this is the ballot 2026. Uganda decides. It's today. Today, we are deciding who our next members of parliament are and who our next president is. Therefore, if you're still home, you've not yet casted your vote, we encourage you to go and vote because your vote matters. We take a break as we wait for more updates.
This is
well, voting is indeed something very funny. Before we get to hope, there is something that is so funny that happened in Kamuli, that is Buzaya, where the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga votes from. The voters say they are not starting to vote until she votes. They said she was the first person to vote and they had to wait for her until she came. Anyway, we have Hope, who is in Nakawa, and last time we heard from her, she was going to crossing from Nakawa east to Nakawa west. Hope, good afternoon to you.
To you, Edwin.
Where are you right now?
Well, currently in Chanja View. We are still waiting for the leader of opposition, Honorable Joel Senyoni, and of course the candidate for Nakawa West Division. He was supposed to be here a bit earlier, however he has not arrived yet to cast his vote. However, voting currently is going on smoothly. Apart from some hiccups that happened in the morning with the ballot boxes, the people here did experience some issues with ballot boxes not having covers to them. So there's a bit of frustration from the people as well.
Okay.
And the situation is still the same. The BVV machines are also not working this side.
Okay.
So they are using the voters register for now.
Okay, maybe someone would also want you to comment on the turn-up, the voter turn-up currently, because as at the look of things, we do not have very many hours from now for voting to end.
Come again, Edwin.
The voter, I wanted you to comment on the voter turn-up in the various polling stations that you've been to in Nakawa East, Nakawa West.
Okay. The voter turn low. In the morning, we did see quite a number of people, but as of now, we are seeing at least 1, 2, 3, 4 coming in. So we can see for now it's a bit low, considering the number of registered voters in this particular polling station, which is 620 according to the information I have gotten.
Okay. Have you also known about whether the other candidates have casted their votes or not yet?
For now, not yet. I have not received information as of now. However, I will be giving you live updates later on in the day.
Okay, thank you so much, Hope. We shall get back to you later on, but we thank you so much for the update. That is what is happening in Nakawa West. Now, remember Nakawa West had an issue where they have 7 candidates, and of course there is a candidate from the Common Man's Party. There is a who is Miles Ramiti. There is also a candidate from the NRM who is Brora Anderson, who is a former RCC of Rubaga. There is also a candidate from the NUP who is the current leader of opposition. There is also Bowe from PFF. Ivan Bowe, remember, had challenged the nomination of the other 6 candidates, saying that they filled in, they were nominated for a non-existent constituency, which was Nakawa West, yet the gazetted constituency is Nakawa Division West. And so the Electoral Commission came out and nullified his petition. He, of course, went to the High Court, and the High Court also did the same. And so that means that all the 7 are back in the race, and now we shall see who is who among the 7. Of course, we shall join in we shall join in other people in the field, of course, to see how the situation is currently. But for now, we take a small breather. Well, we had taken a break, but of course it doesn't mean that there is nothing that is happening. A lot is still happening, and of course as we come to you, we have more updates, especially with the people who are contesting to be the next member of Parliament of Kampala Central. Remember, this contest doesn't have an incumbent. The incumbent retired and declared he wasn't coming back to contest as MP. That is Honorable Muhammad Nsereko, who was independent, but of course his first time in Parliament, he was NRM. And if you remember very well, he's one of those MPs that were labeled as rebel MPs, of course together with Honorable Sech Kubo and others. Now, of course, we have Hajat Misa Kabanda, who is the Minister of Kampala and Metropolitan Affairs, who is one of the candidates contesting to be the next MP of Kampala Central. Now, today she casted her vote from Chisenyi. The place is called Kumbuzi. Of course, that is where she casted her vote from, and we want to hear her message after casting her vote. Well, that is Hajat Misa Kabanda, as you can see, together with her aide. Of course, you see someone is helping her put the ballot paper into the box, and of course, she's actually the one directing them. But of course, you also see that the turn up is actually not so bad in Chisenyi. Now, that place is called Kumbuzi, for people who are familiar with Chisenyi. Of course, there's a lot of development currently, and now that is Mr. Kabanda. Let us see her address after voting, after casting her vote.
Kudda kusawa 10 nga basoma kisooka ddala wano wembeera wenva era wensinzira okukola buli kimu, so wano ndi ku home ground. Neebaza abantu bonna abannonze abataddemu obwesige ne bannonda, era manyi nti insha Allah ensolo ku kizigo kweri. Nange ne basike nabadde nsoma nadda njagala nnyo tubeere mu biometric baleme kubba kalulu kaffe. Naye kati kino ekiro kye tulina okugenda nakyo kubanga kiganye bagamba olw'okuba intaneti yavuddeko, olw'okuba kyosobola kikomentingako nnyo kuba siri wa isi atandise okulonda. Simanyi taanapu webadde sobola, naye nga nsuubira wano we tuli tulonda abantu nga 8 bateeka okuba nga balonze kuba bokisi nzira bazijjula. Candidate, and I've worked tirelessly to look for my support, and I know people are going to vote for me. Machine tusobola gigaana kukola, n'emmotoka esobola kubanga eva ku service n'ekutuka, so nakati sobola gamba nti nenye yaleese obuuma nekyo sobola kikomentingako nnyo kuba siri wa ICT ate siri wa information technology, simanyi wa ICT, simanyi kikibaddewo, naye ekiro kye tusobola okukozesa buli muntu wokola wabeera plan A ne plan B, at least tukozesa plan B. Okubanza nadde njagala nnyo okukozesa obuuma abantu balaga amazima nti oba tulina obuwagizi oba situlina buwagizi. Singa obanga olondeddwa kifaananyi kikyagala okulaba Kampala abirimu kera kukutereeza Kampala ojja kumbuza nti badde minisita naye sibadde MP. Ebizibu by'abasuubuzi mbimanyi, eby'obutale mbimanyi, eby'abavubuka mbimanyi, ebbula mirimu mbimanyi, byonna mbimanyi nga munna Kampala. Kuba gw'olaba nti wano wembeera wakati wa bizibu. Buli wosanga tulina mirimu, tetulina bino ebituluma bye bino, buli kimu kingi nnyo. Wano wembadde emyaka gyonna era nsuubira tebagenda kutiikinga bubi. Beere ne sappooti yaabwe, tukole ku bajeti yaabwe, tukole ku nsonga zonna ng'eziruma banna Kampala kubanga nange zinnumiramu.
Well, that is Hajat Misa Kabanda. Now, of course, she can also confirm that where she voted from in Chisenyi, of course, they didn't use the biometric machines. They only used, they used the registers, the voters' registers. Now, of course, her opponents, including the Secretary General of the National Unity Platform, that is David Lewis Lubongoya, also voted today, and of course he has voted from Kamocha. That is, and of course, we want to also see the highlights as Lubongoya was going to vote, to cast his vote in Kamocha, of course, and also listen to what he has to say, or what he said after after casting his vote.
election must have clear rules. It must have set rules which everybody needs to follow. Now this morning we started moving around. Voting was supposed to begin at 7 a.m. but by now in many places people are still calling us to find out what is going on because the BVVK machines, which the Electoral Commission said were mandatory to be used in this election, have failed maybe at 90% of the places, or even more. I've been moving around Kampala Central. The only place which started voting at 7 a.m. is where the military votes from, at Summit View. Elsewhere, there was no voting taking place. I called the Electoral Commission as Secretary General of NUP, and the Electoral Commission said they have issued a new directive for people to vote manually. But remember, there is no internet. How does this information get to reach our people everywhere? That's why many people are calling me to ask me whether they should go on or not. But remember, not everyone will call me. Many people are going to be there. NUP polling agents across the country and supervisors are being picked up every minute. Our Deputy President for Western Uganda was arrested last night. Our coordinator for Ankole Sub-Region was arrested. Our coordinators for the different districts, Mitoma, Rubirizi, where all of them are being picked up. In northern Uganda, it's worse. In Moya, in Obongi, in Kitugum, all these places, our people are being picked up. Agago and other places are being picked up and arrested. So how do you expect us to have an election where you are arresting polling agents, supervisors of the main challenger to General Museveni? So the election has been militarized completely. The BVVK has completely failed. Like I said, it could even be up to 99% of the areas. Voting materials have not reached in many places. You know, I've been talking to our people in Busega, in Chengera. These are places in Wakiso, but materials are yet to reach there. So it's very, very unfortunate.
abakulu mu kakiiko ak'ebifunda balogena maaso n'okutambuza ebizibu by'okulongoosa mu kitundu
Well, that is how things were earlier in Kamocha. But now, when we get to East Kololo Primary School, that is where Abraham Luzi voted from. Of course, Abraham Luzi showed up with Sarah, the one he has always referred to as Sarah is tall, Sarah is beautiful, and all those other slogans he has used, and of course we have known him for. And he came to, he voted from East Kololo Primary School. And of course, let's see the highlights while Luzi was in Kololo casting his vote.
Abraham Luzi bawa Sala is tall, omwana omuto mulungi omwavu afumba ekyenkya ekiri seasoned, garnished, marinated, not limited to cornmeal, rosemary and ginger and many other spices from Zanzibar. Chala afumba kakyaliza okulonda bebaza abawagizi bange mwenna bannakampala okuuma emirembe n'okujjumbira okulonda. Nebaza mukyala wange ono olugendo tutambudde wamu kirabika leero lutuuse ku nkomerero yaalwo. Nyabo webale nnyo, webali ddala. Nebaza famire yange mwenna mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Nsuubira akalulu kano katambudde bulungi. Of course omulungi tabulako kamogo obadde okukeerewa mu katono naye bakimanaginze bebaza akakiiko k'ebyokulonda. Tusuubira okuwangula era obuwanguzi buno bw'abannakampala bw'abannayuganda nga bwe nabasuubiza tinze siri wa kukyamuukirira siri muyala ŋŋenda kukola ate mbasuubiza era nabasuubiza nti pulezidenti agenda okuwangula mwenna mumumanyi olw'okuba nti akiri abalala. Ndi independent, siina kibiina, siina kajanja ako ka bibiina, nze sibikkiririzaamu kuba bireeta enjawukana. Ŋŋenda kukolagana ne pulezidenti nchimanya agenda okuwangula Mwami Museveni. Olwo nno tulete reforms. Mwe bannayuganda ze mugenda okufunamu mulekerawo obusungu n'akajanja. Tubasaba bannayuganda ng'okulonda kuwedde. Bwe bakuwangula ddeeka okola ebirala. Nange era we bampangula nja kukwata reforms, magnificent reforms, nzikwasa oyo yenna n'abakoze eki. Waliwo awangula n'awangulwa. Era temulowooza nti obutannonda mba mumbonereza nedda. Nja kukwata akakyala kae kakube drive around the city ngende nnime ngende nkole ebirala. Kiyamba gwe okulonda omukulembeze omulungi agenda okukola ebyo gwe byogenda okufunamu mmwe mufunamu. Era emunaate munnonze nze ngenda kukola pate lunaku lwankya esinga neyo gye naalikoze nga mpangudde nga mbasekerera. So teri kye tutakoze ogwaffe tugukoze kati gusigalidde eri mu abalonzi okuteeka ku minzaani okulaba asaanidde.
Well, that is Abraham Luzi. Anyway. Now, of course, earlier we talked to the mayor of Kampala Central, that is Salim Uhuru, and now we want to see where he voted from and how how the situation was where he was. Let us now go to Nachivubo, because that is where he voted from, and of course that place is called Blue Room, in case you don't know the place. Blue Room, and that's where he voted from. Let us see the situation and how it was where at the time when Mayor Uhuru was casting his vote.
Nja kusooka kwebaza National Electoral Commission okulaba buli kimu materials zonna zibadde mu budde. Ne challenge twafunye okulaba machine buli wamu zo zaaganye. Naye nga tetulina buyinza okusalawo abantu kolaki okozesa register. But all in all, twatuusiza communication, tulina bulinzi directive okulaba tukozesa register. But for now, ekiriwo abantu bajumbidde nnyo okujja okulonda, but just too late. Obudde buweddewo tutandise ssaawa 3:30, but ndoza ensonga eyo EC ejja kukitereeza. Sijja kwogera nnyo ku nsonga ya akuuma ako kubanga ze personally mbadde sikikirizaamu lwa nsonga time network kati mbiyo mulaba ku ssaawa esembayo etuletinze down naye nga directives ebaddewo tubadde tulina okukozesa mashini kyenkumu but now ndowooza officially bamaze kulagira okutandika manual which is even better enda ku affectinga lwa nsonga abantu abagenda kulonda be bali mu register tetugenda kuleeta bakifeesi bonna good enough ba agents bonna we bali bajakanya ono ye Salimu Uhuru Nsubuga alondera blue room era mu mulonzi so good enough chenja kwebaza balonzi buli wamu kitambudde bulungi the election today so far to thank the EC the election materials came in time today and people were already at the stations by 6 a.m. However, we got a challenge with the manual machine, the thumb printing machine, that not actually in Kampala but all over refused to work. So I thought I could not take any decision. It is the AC that has come out. We have communicated to see we go back to the manual way, which is much faster and easier. Good enough, all the agents have agreed here to go to the old fashion.
Talk about the turnout.
If you can see, a lot of people have turned up. It's overwhelming. So we just have to keep time because we started late. But all in all, there's no fighting, there's no intimidation, there's no tension. People are doing as they wish. No one is putting on colors. It's just they want to vote. It's coming late. Yeah.
Well, that is what happened in Kampala earlier today. We take another break. We shall be back with more updates. We are committed to feeding you with all you need to know about what is happening wherever you are not. Now that the internet is off, you keep your eyes on Church of Uganda Family TV. Well, I believe you had a very good rest as you calm down your tension, your tempers. The countdown is on. Of course, in the next 20 minutes, voting will have been polling stations will have been closed, meaning at exactly 4, only the people who will be in the queue are the ones that will be voting. Now, you who is still home, make sure you are in that line before 4 because it's just 20 minutes to the time. But we are here with more updates, and of course, we want to join Joel Atinka Simire, who is in we want to, but of course, we still have a number of updates. Later on, we shall be joined in with Joel Tinka Semire in Masindi, of course, to give us what is happening there. But of course, we also have people who are voting, and now around Zambia, Zambia, there was some confusion that the Electoral Commission has found because very many polling stations had been shifted. And of course, people were struggling with struggling with the locations of their various polling stations. But of course, we have Julius, who earlier was in Machindie, but let us get to him to tell us where he is right now and the atmosphere now that we are about to get to the closure of the polling. Julius, over to you, Sebo.
Thank you very much. Julius again back on air. Here in Kamocha, a polling station of KCC Primary School, to discover the elections are moving on, and currently as I talk, the people are voting on very well. After voting, they are going home, and not the other, not as I proposed that after voting we keep on the polling station, but we have seen people observing the guidelines and EC rules that have been put in place that after voting, just go home and maybe wait for counting of the vote. So people have adhered the guidelines of the Electoral Commission of voting and going back to their homes. As I talk here in Sabot where I am, the voting is going on smoothly. As earlier I told you that people, the digital machine failed, but now people have resorted to using the manual way of voting as it needs to be in other elections, especially special plan elections, whereby you go to the polling station with the national ID, you present it as a stakeholder in the register, and when you finally on the register, then you are right to go ahead and vote. Okay. But for the issue of the protest vote, people have not done that one. At least I have seen on the several polling stations have moved to in Kamocha, in Tevando, in Kanyanya, in Machinde, and other places. People have adhered to the rules and the guidelines of the Electoral Commission. They are not staying at the polling station. They hope so maybe they'll come back in the evenings for voting, for vote counting. But as for now, whoever is finishing the voting, local to miss vote or vote, is going back home and waiting for what will come out of the result. Otherwise, the situation is calm and the voting process is, or most of the polling stations we have passed through, it's moving on very well.
Well, thank you so much, Julius. We shall join you later on, especially when the vote counting starts, to give us more updates. Otherwise, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was Julius Muhumuza, and of course he has been in a number of places. Of course he started from Kawempe North, then through Kawempe South, and then to Machindie, and now he's partly in Kampala Central, but also in some parts of Kawempe North, the places of Kanyanya, like he has told us. And now we want to get back to Hope and Nyongereza. The last time we had her, of course, she was still waiting for the leader of opposition to show up for voting. Hope, over to you. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Edwin.
What is the situation like? Did you eventually witness the leader of opposition casting his vote?
Oh yes, at exactly 2:15 p.m. The leader of opposition arrived at the Chanzaview polling station, and he was able to cast his vote successfully.
Okay. Meanwhile, what is the general atmosphere in the places you've been to and where you are right now?
Well, when I left Chanzaview, I can say that people are mostly done voting over there. But of course, we are waiting until the time elapses at 4 p.m.
Okay.
Currently, I am at St. Yusuf Lugalama in Tinda. And so far, we are seeing a few number of people than expected.
Okay.
I have had some interviews with some people, and they are saying that the turnout has been a bit low compared to the previous years.
Okay. Have they cited out any reasons as to why it has been like that?
Well, most of them are attributing it to maybe perhaps fear But they're also wondering why it's low turnout this time compared to the previous years.
Okay, all right, Hope, thank you so much. We shall get back to you later, especially when the vote counting starts, to see what is happening there. Thank you so much. And of course, like I said, we still have a number of updates. We know that Emma Arengai is in Lubaga. The last time we talked to him, he was traversing through Lubaga North, and now he told us he was about to cross to Lubaga South to see, to give us the picture of what is happening there. But also later on, in a few minutes, we are going to have Joel join us. Of course, Joel is in Masindi, and of course, we shall listen to him as he gives us an update of how the situation is in the various polling stations he has been to in Masindi. And of course, meanwhile, voting is moving on very well in most of the polling stations. Of course, the highlight is that in some polling stations, voting didn't start on time. People started a bit late, partly because of the issue of the BVV machine that jammed in very many polling stations. But also, the other issue was a delay in the delivery of the polling materials, of course, by the different district electoral commission officials. But nevertheless, when it started fully. And of course, there was another issue that came up, of course, that we had, of course, in our reporters, that was a bit irregular and unusual, where someone claims to have their name in the agency's register, but not featuring in the Electoral Commission of the presiding officer's register. So that was a bit strange, but anyway, it happened. But also the other thing, the other highlight is that different presidential candidates have also been able to cast their votes from different places. Of course, Honorable General Mugisha Muntu Grigori was able to cast his vote from Ntungamo, and of course President Yoweri Museveni from Chiruhura, and then Chagulanyi Robert Sentamu from Magere. We also saw Mubaraka Munyagwa from Makerere Chikoni, and of course the others from the different spaces. Now let's get to Joel Tinkasimire as he gives us updates on what is happening in the various polling stations that he has been to in Masindi. Yes, Joel, over.
Buterevo chali ku Church of Uganda Family TV nagambye nti kumacha ne kugamba tukyatambula Masindi tukyakuweereza wabula buli kimu ekigenda maaso, and we are still on the ballot 2026, and that's why we are here as Church of Uganda Family TV. We are making sure we give you all round corners. Joel Tinkasimiro ya kike mswazima omwana wa kaka here in Masindi. Guess what, right now the updates which are on, you can see the voting is still so far so good. However, despite the fact that this time round the number of voters during the afternoon hours, it has been very low, and in the morning, at least the moment they say that the biometrics will not work, it was very good enough for most of them to come here and vote. Njagala ate kubanga nkutegeeza nti ebitambula oba ebigenda maaso Masindi bikyali bulungi, engeri gye tubadde tubisuubira, security kyali bulungi, abakulirwa Pensive Tukasimba the DPC yakoze bulungi deployment, and there is nobody who has been so far been a victim with police. And on the other side, Masindi oba tukyali bulungi kuba security yakoze joint security, mulimu aba UPDF, mulimu okuva eri Masindi Artillery, mulimu abavudde mu police academy eri police training school ekabalye, waliwo aba Uganda prisons nabo mwe bali kwogase nabo aba PC oba bayite ba police constables abafuluma omutwa 1,826 here for the for the North Bunyoro sub-region. But what I can really assure you is that everything is so far so cool. Unfortunately, we have faced challenges of too much sunshine, as you can see down here in the background. On the other hand, I'd like to inform you on the issue of road safety. So far so good, despite the fact that this morning one of the businessmen, that is Muhammad Mukuza, one of the renowned businessmen, just had a head-to-head collision with a motor with a vehicle, that's a Primo, and of course he died on he passed on as he was being taken to the hospital. But unfortunately, we just say may his soul rest in peace. And being a Muslim, we always say inna ilahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un for the other brothers of ours. But also his burial will be on tomorrow at his ancestral home, that is in Chamia. And maybe what I can also bring for you that the three candidates who are being voted here, or the three positions which are being voted for here, that's the woman member of parliament, and that's of Masindi municipality where I am right now. We have the president of the Republic of Uganda, and of course the woman member of parliament for the district, and including on the other three constituencies, that is Bururi, Bujenji, and of course the municipality, the same, all the three. What I can assure you is that the percentage increased, the polling stations increased from 226 to 446. That is a very, very big increase, almost closer to 50% due to the number of population, because in the last year campaign we had 150 plus voters, but now we have 179, closer to 180. But more and more will be coming up in the subsequent bulletin of Church of Uganda Family TV, Mafefete, the Luganda News at 6, and of course the English News at 8. Back to you at the command center.
Well, Joel, I wanted to tell you that even as here in Kampala, the sun is giving us its best. So you're not alone in Masindi. It is the same situation here in. But just remind you about the statistics, especially over these general elections. Of course, the number of districts, as per the Electoral Commission statistics of November 2025, we have a total number of 146 districts here in Uganda, and of course the number of counties are 312. Of course, the number of constituencies are 353, and the number of sub-counties, towns, municipal divisions are 2,191, and the number of parishes across the entire country are 10,717, whereas the number of polling stations across Uganda. Now, there's been an increase in the number of polling stations. Earlier, I was telling you that we got reports from Zambia where there were new polling stations that had been formed. So this explains, and probably you might also witness from where you voted from, that there was an increase in the number of polling stations. But in 2021, we had we had 34,684 polling stations across the country. But in these elections, we have 50,739 polling stations. But also, this is explained by the increase in the number of voters, because in 2021, we had 18,103,603 voters as per Electoral Commission register. And of course, in 2025, by November 2025, we are talking about 21,681,491. So this can partly explain the increase in the number of polling stations across this country. Now, of course, it is exactly 4 minutes to the end of the polling. So in the next 4 minutes, the other formalities will be taken, and then we shall get to vote counting. Now, we take a short breather, but we have a lot more updates for you, and we shall be back with them.